busy up until this very moment. Even still busy, but maybe less busy. As we let ourselves take a few deep breaths. Tuesday tea time with a few missing participants traveling and having appointments and being ill. May we hold everyone in our hearts and others that we know who are possibly challenged physically, emotionally. Holding ourselves in high regard. Letting ourselves be in this moment, whatever is happening. Settling into our seat. Remembering things that we are grateful for. Remembering something today that has caused us happiness or gratitude. Helping the heart and mind reset to an intention of kindness. Taking a few long breaths, just noticing. Can I actually feel my diaphragm when I breathe? Barely. I can definitely feel it in the chest and at the nostrils. But how about a couple of nice long breaths of just letting ourselves be here, adjusting where we are in our posture, forward and back, side to side. Coming into the body. Because we are taking this time to be with ourselves, with each other, and inside ourselves. We have outer and inner worlds to bring together. We might even notice our breath, outer and inner, as it comes in from the outside through our nostrils, filling the lungs and filling the belly. Feeling the pressure at the belly and then feeling it deflate, the diaphragm deflate, pulling away from the torso and getting more comfortable than when it's filled. There isn't really separation between inner and outer, but we make that separation a lot. Something that we feel is outside of ourselves. and what we're noticing that's inside of ourselves. But as we begin to settle more, as those purposeful deep breaths land us a little more in the present, we may notice more transparency in the breath within our body and less distinction between inner and outer. The Buddha talks about this quite a bit in some of his teachings around inner and outer, both inner and outer. And so just starting with the breath, we might notice on the inner plane, the breath filling, cooling through the nostrils, filling the chest, filling the belly. Sort of more on the outer, we might notice the tightness of our clothing around our waistline when we're inhaling, or the pressure against our skin somewhere. And so we're in this present moment with each breath, noticing inhaling and noticing exhaling. Being present with the feeling that arises. The depth of the breath. The fullness of the breath. Giving ourselves permission to just be at this one place, at this one time, whatever the breath is feeling like to ourselves. We return our attention when we wander to the sensation of the breath. Sometimes the mind gets so busy. I reminded myself this morning of the exercise of counting the breath. Laying down, I decided to meditate laying down, attending to the breath. How busy was the mind upon waking? What was it focusing on? Even when I bring to mind gratitude, something to have gratitude for, I would be lucky to get past 4 breaths before the mind would be going off, thinking about things or going back to sleep. So whether we're attending to the breath as best we can, or whether we decide to give the mind something to do where we can be with the breath and count it on the inhale and on the exhale. For a while, we just return to the breath as a point of contact, as a point of concentration, bringing the unruly mind back to the present moment, or giving us a reason to wake up in the present moment again and again by using the breath. Slowly letting go of so much more stimulation. And just attempting to do one thing at a time. taming the mind, training the mind, awakening just enough effort and interest to be able to pay attention to the breath at the nostrils or the breath in the diaphragm, or counting, inhaling and exhaling. And when we forget where we are, or we notice we're lost in thought or lost in outer space, we just gently and carefully begin again. We know what to do every time we notice ourselves waking up again. We can notice that as a moment of freedom, that we have come back to the present moment. It's a moment of wakefulness, a moment when mindfulness comes to us more readily and awareness is there. And sometimes we can notice wisdom arising when we can let go of something that might have not been so skillful at the time, like we were lost in thought or tiredness overcomes us. We just begin again, realizing that we're waking up in this moment and we can notice what's happening now. What is the attitude of the mind and of the heart? And be present to what's arising. And as we continue reminding ourselves to be in the present moment through attending to the breath or coming back to the present whenever we find ourselves lost, we can also use the gentle practice of noting, so that just a small portion, like maybe 5% of our mental activity, is noticing with a soft, gentle note of what's happening. It can help keep us from being completely lost in a long storyline or sensations in the body that are constantly bringing our attention to them. We can just notice then in that moment, with a little bit of removal, what is there, pleasant or unpleasant, or maybe neutral, we can't really even tell. Or maybe there's judgment or sleepiness or itching or pain somewhere in the muscles or joints. Mindfulness is present with neutrality, keeping the object now is changing. And we're noticing each object coming into our awareness and being able to give it a soft, gentle note of what's happening in the mind or physical sensations in the body, emotional sensations in the mind or body. Broadening our awareness from the breath to noticing changing objects with mindfulness, and adding the soft mental notation to keep us interested and aware. This intention of being present, beginning again and again, is the slow and gradual training of the mind and heart to be present in this moment. What do we notice at our sense doors? What do we notice at the door of hearing? Sound coming to the ears, to the ear door. Do we notice it as pleasant or unpleasant? Can we be with what it is without judgment around it, just present for the sound, whether it's internal or external sound? Or what's happening at the door of touching? What our arms are touching, where our hands are touching, what our back is touching, where our buttocks is having pressure or heat, coolness, sensations. These are all moments to be aware, since everything that we perceive comes to us through our sense doors. We're just present with what's arising there. So we can hold ourselves in a spacious kindness, as we did in the beginning with gratitude, and be open to what arises. By now, our breath probably feels a little different than it did in the beginning. There might be a little more spaciousness, openness. We may notice the breath, but not as distinctly, or maybe it's less strong. We may notice some of the other sense doors in the body, but we notice with mindfulness, we notice with awareness, with the pure nature of being present. This is just nature, coming and going. And we are here to witness and be present as best we can to this very moment, holding ourselves in kindness and gentleness, and holding each other in that same kind of well-wishing, goodwill. Present to what's arising and passing away, and being very present to be aware, directly aware of the impermanent nature of whatever is arising, that we can't hold on to it and it passes away. It does not have any solid sense of self. And we can be comfortable in this. We can be open to this. We can actually find joy in this by not grasping or clinging to what we like or dislike. Realizing in every moment there is arising and passing away. beginning again over and over again, both in our formal practice like we're doing now and in our daily life, when we find the mind wandering to something unskillful and unproductive, not useful for us. May we incline the heart and mind toward skillful, toward kindness, toward openness, to hold ourselves gently and with compassion as we move through the world, and to hold others in our hearts with kindness and with compassion. Remembering in our hearts those who are close to us, those whose lives have benefited us, our teachers, our close friends. Knowing just as I wish to be happy, they also wish to be happy. May they have ease in their lives. May that kindness and well-being flow to others that we don't know. They might be close to us. We might see them when we go on a walk or see them online when we're joining something. They may be farther away. Maybe they're neutral and we only see them on our device somewhere. Knowing that all beings wish to be at ease, wish to be free. May we hold their well-being in our hearts. Those who are in joy and those who are in suffering. All we have to do is look at the news once and see at least 10 groups of people suffering. But we don't see very much about those people who are in joy. Both sides of the coin, all beings. May all beings be free from harm, safe and protected as we nurture this place in our hearts of kindness. For those in war-torn areas, for those fleeing their countries over and over again. Without falling into pity, may we just hold them gently. Some of those faces we may have seen on the news, holding them in kindness and in compassion. And those who may be joyous, children you've been with lately, those who you know are getting married, those who you know are reaching some of their goals in nature or in their work life. Your animals when they're joyous. May we hold in our hearts all beings, those in suffering and those in joy, those that are enlightened, those who have come before us, as enlightened beings have been enlightened in this lifetime, and those who are unenlightened and seem to be furthest from the ability to really understand another person's suffering. May all these opposites be held in our hearts, those that are seen and those that are unseen, those that swim and fly, crawl, walk below the earth's surface and above the earth's surface. May all beings everywhere find ease and well-being. Be free from anxiety. Be free from suffering. Be free from enmity and danger. As it is said in the metta practice chant, by this practice in accord with the true Dhamma, I honor the Dhamma. By this practice in accord with the true Dhamma, I honor the Buddha. By this practice in accord with the true Dhamma, I honor the Sangha. May all beings, all living things, all creatures, all individuals, all personalities, all females, all males, all noble ones, all who are not noble ones, all celestial beings, all human beings, all those in unhappy states. May they be free from enmity and danger. May they be free from mental suffering. May they be free from physical suffering. May they take care of themselves happily. May they be released from all suffering. May their joy and happiness continue and grow. All beings have Kama as their true property. May all beings be well and happy. Sabbe sata sukhi hontu. May all beings be well and happy. Sabbe sata sukhi hontu. Sabbe sata sukhi hontu. Sabbe sata sukhi hontu. Sabbe sata sukhi hontu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for your practice, however it was. Don't forget, it's of benefit to all beings, just taking this time for ourselves. Thank you, thank you, thank you.